Back on your feet, baby.
All right.
Thank you.
Back on your feet, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is this thing working? No. How you do it? Oh, I have to use both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I thank you for the warm welcome back to our family reunion at NAVSE. I, of course, have been a member of NAVSE for 21 years, and almost everybody knows me. Sister said, I need a bio for you. I said, I don't think so. Almost everybody in NAVSE knows me, but for the new people, I've been around here forever, and I sing the same song. It's always amazing to me that so many people come to my set, because every year I sing the same song. Every year I come and I continuously speak about our responsibility, sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen who want to help, for the acceleration and elevation of the student achievement for African American children in particular and all children in general. From 1979 through 1993, I brought before NAVSE, along with my colleagues J. Jerome Harris, Percy Bates, Charles Moody, Don Clark, Donald H. Smith, and my very dear colleague Asa Hilliard, the marriage of African-centered education with the practice of effective schools. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot separate the two. You cannot have an African-centered school with 52% of our children in the bottom quartile on the standardized test in reading and can't read Africa.
Come on.
You cannot have our children reading 9.0 in the 4th grade and not knowing a thing about who they are. You've got to do both of these things. If you don't, you have not succeeded. I said that now, lots of years. My first high achieving school was created for, in my experience, I'm sure other people did the same thing. But remember, I'm looking at this through my experience only. But I'm sure other people did the same thing. I know I'm not the only one who did this. And my first school was Anton Dvorak Elementary School, 3615 West 16th Street on the west side of Chicago. I was appointed principal there April the 8th, 1963, and I was there until June 25th, 1965. And during the 2 years that I was there, that school came to the bottom of District 10 to the 49th percentile in 2 years. It did not take 22 years. It did not take 10. It did not take 6. We did it in 2 years, right? There is nothing wrong with African American children. They are still alive and well and coming to you ready to learn. Now what you do with this depends on you. My second set of schools was located in 1973 in the District of Columbia. And I found 3 schools where students were achieving at or above the national norm. They were LaSalle, Bunker Hill, and Mildred Green Elementary School, and the H.D. Woodson High School. Now, I wasn't there long enough to do anything with this because in midterm, I got in a big fight with my school board, and that ended that. I can't remember the names of the principals of LaSalle and the Bunker Hill, but the principal of Mildred Green was Vandy Jameson, and the principal of H.D. Woodson High School was Dr. Napoleon Lewis, and he is here today. Stand up, Nappy. My third set of schools was located in Pittsburgh and Dallas, around 1983. So you know, it's 10 years. Every 10 years I come back and I give you a set of schools that did it. You think it would make a difference. Third set In Pittsburgh, there's 2 sets of these. I found the 3rd set, one in Pittsburgh, 1 set in Pittsburgh, 1 in Dallas, Texas. The Pittsburgh set, Van Elementary School, principal there is Doris Brevard. Madison Elementary School, the principal there is Ms. Vivian Williams. And the Belshoover, the principal there was Dr. Lewis A. Vincent. That school has since been desegregated, so it disappeared as a black school, as an African-American school. The Van and the Madison are still high-achieving, 99% African-American schools. They serve children who live in public housing under the hardships of poverty, crime, violence. Only 19% of the students live with both parents. And these children are achieving on a standardized test, California, in reading at the 90th percentile, and likewise in mathematics. This is a real school. You can hop on a bus, plane, whatever. Go there. It's at 641 Watt Street, W-A-T-T, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15219. Telephone number is 412-622-8455. This is a real school. You can go see it. You can examine the scores. They're in the public domain to see if I'm lying to you. Same thing for Madison, except it's at Milwaukee and Orion Streets, Pittsburgh, 15219. Telephone number 412-622-8460. Anybody here from Pittsburgh? Am I lying? Dallas. The schools in Dallas were the Margolis Elementary and the Maynard Jackson Middle School. Both of them, when they were high achieving, had a principal named Dr. Sherwin Allen, who is now superintendent of schools in Benton Harbor, and I hope you didn't miss his workshop. Because this young man knows how to do it to it. And if you just do what he tells you to do, in 2 years, you too will have a high achieving school. And lo and behold, guess who I found again in Dallas? Here was Lincoln High School. Go running away with all the awards. And you know who the principal was? Dr. Napoleon Lewis. Stand off napping. So this gentleman now did it once. He did it twice. They kicked him out of D.C. and he said, fine. And so he went home to Dallas and did it again. Now, you can do it too. You can do it too. But we have to learn how to move in and provide leadership to support our principals who do this job. Here, look at Atlanta. Look at here what Jerome Harris did. Look at the game, 99 percentile doing his superintendency. We let the Negroes down there fire him. Didn't say a word. I mean, too bad. Should have learned how to get along with the peoples. Look here. It's Atlanta Public Schools. When Dr. Harris was there, look at the comparison to him and Dr. Krim and Dr. Butts. I mean, huh? We let the black people fire him. Couldn't get along with the peoples. Look here. Here it is. I mean, I'm giving it to you. You can't miss this. This is public data in the domain. Anybody here from Atlanta? Yeah, stand up and let the folks see y'all. Because you didn't protect this man. Atlanta, here is his school. I mean, look at 1990 when he was there. I mean, you got to be blind, crippled, and crazy not to understand this. They fired him. Couldn't get along with the people. Atlanta. Look at his scores. I mean, you know, look at here. What we trying to do, get these kids at 52nd percentile just at the base. Just at the base. That's where you got to get in order to get to the 90. You got to first get to 50. All right? That's the first step. Look at here. 52, 53, 58. That's what Jerome Harris did with these schools when he was, hey, they fired him. He couldn't get along with the peoples. Now, this man came with big credentials. I mean, he not only did it once, he's like Nappy. He's a two-time man. Everywhere I go, I do it. I know how to do it to it. See? 87. This is This is, excuse me, Community School District 13, New York City. You know who it was? J. Jerome Harris. Look at here when Harris was there. Look at this. This is when he wasn't there. I mean, clear? Is that clear? Do you need anything else for me to tell you? Of course, now the New York people, they had sense. They tried to keep him, but then he had to go to Atlanta. And so they fired him in Atlanta. See, you always ought to stay with the grass of green. Is he here? Yeah. Judge Jerome Harris, come on here, let us people see you. This is Judge Jerome Harris. Hi. He is now taking over the Compton school system, and next year he'll be back to tell you some of the stuff about Compton. Tell him.
That's right. Compton is academically bankrupt, and they're at the bottom of the bottom in the state of California. My commitment to Compton is they won't be there next year. All right. They'll improve academically every year that I'm there, I'll leave. I may leave anyway, so. You should understand, I don't work for the board, I work for the state now, so I'm kind of a czar, some people call me, is that I'm the board and everything else, but I should also understand I have a 5-day contract. My contract is 5 days. State superintendent will let me go in 5 days. That's all we have. Thank you.
Well, we love you, J. Jerome Harris. I hope the people in Compton appreciate what you got and cooperate with it. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we African Americans are funny people. We praise and allow others to declare our schools to be excellent when 50% of our students can't read in them. I see African Americans on the television every day talking about how wonderful their school is. Oh, we're just doing big things in the school. And I send for the scores, and it's depressing. I mean, 36% of the kids meeting the standards, and this is supposed to be a big school. Ladies and gentlemen, if your children can't read, write, and speak standard English and cannot compute and understand mathematics, you are a failure. Face up to it. Face up to it. Face up to it. And if you want to teach it in school where the parents already teach the kids before they come to you so you don't have to do anything to earn your paycheck, leave and go someplace where like that. We cannot make new African American children, but we can try to train new teachers. All right. A teacher here was bragging about her school in the Chicago public school system. And by the way, this is a school that left our project because they said we couldn't help them to elevate and accelerate achievement. And she was saying that there was what great things were going on in her school. At this school, only 8% of the students met and exceeded the state standards in reading and only 20% in math. The teachers are fighting each other and fighting the principal, trying to keep him from getting a new contract, and it's a mess in the school. Now listen, I want to tell you something. If anybody from Chicago Public Schools tells you how great their school is, you call me. I got all the scores in my bag. You call me. In room 1528 in this hotel, and I will give you the scoop on that school. We agree with those who say that our children cannot learn because they live under the exigencies of poverty, crime, addiction, and violence. And I saw a teacher on TV talking that old bull the other day, and she came out the project herself. In fact, her father shot her mother. Her father shot her mother, and she was standing on TV talking all this dumb stuff. I mean, if I'd been close to her, I would have smacked her upside her head. What is our problem? and be a certified teacher in Illinois and still say that kind of dumb stuff. I'm amazed. I just can't explain it. This indeed is a far cry, sisters and brothers, from the time that Frances Cress Welsing described to us in her speech when teachers urged us to be better than white people so we could succeed. Yesterday when I was talking to Ted Kimbrough, who, by the way, is the smartest man in America, and we citizens in Chicago are going to be paying him for the rest of his beautiful young life. See, we were just like Atlanta. We fired him. But he was smart. He was smarter than Jerome. He made Chicago pay. We're going to be paying him $40,000 a year about for the rest of his life, and Ted Kimbrough is young and good looking. Did you see? Yesterday, I was talking to him, and a little kindergarten teacher from Chicago came up, and she was complaining because her children are increasingly born to addicted mothers with attendant complications. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's true, that's happening, but 90% of the kids that come into school are normal. Right? So we're going to gear our curriculum to the 10% and neglect the 90%? I mean, please, give me a break. We got to think differently about what we're doing with these children in schools. We blacks still don't get it. And we won't become African Americans until we get it. We still don't get it. That the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen, is passing tests. English, that means pass the test. I am tired of African Americans coming to me and saying, my, you did a whole 360-degree thing on this. I sure did. I sure did. I learned my lesson in Washington, D.C. That's where I learned my lesson. When I got the power to abolish tests, I did so. And they abolished me. I don't blame it on the white folks because they couldn't have done it without the blacks. So don't try it. Don't even try it. That taught me a lesson. And I try to learn lessons because I don't want God to give me the same lessons over and over and over. I can't take it. So I try to learn lessons when God gives it to me. The lesson I learned, ladies and gentlemen, was that African Americans have to pass these tests or we will not eat. You have to pass a test to get into DePaul and Harvard. They want an SAT or ACT score well above 1,000 on the SAT and like 24, 25, 30 on the ACT. That's what they want to get into Harvard and DePaul, okay? You have to take a test to be a certified teacher in Illinois. You have to take a basic skills test, and then you have to take a test in your discipline or area. These are standardized tests, ladies and gentlemen. All right? They are not portfolio. The only institution you can get in America by portfolio is prison. That's right. You have to take a LSAT to get into law school and a bar exam to get out. You have to take an MCAT to get into medical school and a medical exam to get out. You do not get into a profession by portfolio. Don't lie to these kids, especially poor ones, especially students who speak a dialect other than standard English. Don't do it. Don't even try it. They know you're sending them down the channel to failure. That's why they don't come to school. They know exactly where you're coming from. And this new generation is not confounded by your color. pursuing methodologies which have proved to be ineffective to our kids. We fail to identify their needs and blame them and their parents for our negligence. Not a week goes by that someone does not call me or send a letter to me asking for information about whole language and the impact on African Americans. I mean, I can't get over this. I must have sent it out to over 1,000 teachers this year, just this year. And yet, I go in school after school after school where the kids cannot read and nobody's teaching them phonics. Phonics is an imperative for African American and Latino children. It's an imperative. If you're not teaching it, you don't want them to read.
That's right.
Whole language is only good after you learn how to read. You use whole language to read to learn. You can't use it to learn to read.
All right.
Why? I go in the classroom, SAT's on the board, and the kid can't sound it out. Can't work it out. Because doesn't know how to put the sounds together. Right? And the classes where they are teaching phonics, they're teaching it with worksheets.
Right.
I mean, that tells you right there that the teacher doesn't know what's going on. Because phonics is taught through speech. You want somebody to say for S, you can't say write it. African-American kids got too many short vowel sounds in Black English. Too many of them. They got, when I say too many, I don't mean for Black English, of course. I mean for standard English. So if you don't teach them what the sounds they use for standard English, they're going to give you what they got. But what else can they do? Same thing for Latino children. They're going to give you what they got. They only got one sound for each vowel. So if you want them to say ah for A, you got to teach it to them. Otherwise, they're going to give you ah. Because that's what they have. So these people who want to teach phonics in the African-American Latino schools, they need to go to suburbs or somewhere where kids already know how to read. Because that's when you can use whole language. And some of these whole language teachers are fierce about it. I'm a whole language teacher. What? Fine. Except, is he in your class? Many law-achieving schools where children can read use language series like Open Court. Now, of course, I'm not selling anything, and Open Court doesn't pay me a dime, and I'm not pushing Open Court. But Open Court is the kind of series that you need to consider. We have got to stop having our children write for control. That's what's going on in African-American students. They're just writing. They're just writing away. Write. I went in a classroom, the kid was writing orphan, O-R-P-H-A-N, had written it 10 times. I said, oh, God, your handwriting is beautiful. That's wonderful. I said, you can really write. And he smiled. And I said, what does orphan mean, honey? We ain't got to that yet. Teachers love to teach spelling because they don't know how to teach reading. Spelling is the weakest test for African-American children in the reading series. It's the weakest. The strongest and most powerful test for African-American children's vocabulary development, and the second is language usage. Ask Sherwin Allen. He can run this down for you real good. Right? Spelling is weak. My son is a PhD in animal science genetics. He can't spell Ben. I mean, spell check was God's gift to him. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we just simply do not get it. We do not get it. And until we get this message and let it change our behavior, our children are not going to learn, are not going to pass tests, and are going to fall to the bottom and be killing each other more. We are constantly reacting to somebody else's agenda. In spite of the fact that we know better. I had a sister here wrote a dissertation on the impact of teacher attitude towards children. Half of you don't even know Carolyn. Where's Carolyn Bennett Murray? Carolyn Bennett Murray at Riverside. We use her dissertation in Illinois because what she tells you is that teachers don't like smart African Americans and try to make them into dummies in their class so that they will conform with their notion of what an African American student is, dumb. Now, if that is happening to the best of our students, what in the world is going on? We've got to look at what we know and what we have that speaks to the needs of our students. In 1988, the state legislature passed the Chicago Reform Act, creating local school councils in over 500 schools. There are approximately 411,000 students in Chicago public schools, 60% of them African Americans, 30% Latino, and 10% other. The leaders of the reform movement are all white. Hello. In a city where there are 1.8 million Negroes, black people, potential African Americans. Governance is of prime importance. Student achievement is secondary. Local school councils hire and fire principals who have a 4-year contract and have no tenure. Teachers retain their tenure. Central office administrators earn more money than principals. District superintendents are selected by district councils, and many may or may not be principals. All right? An interesting thing happened. An organization published the scores and said school reform not working here because kids still can't read. Right? Right? These 5 white men and 1 white lady called the papers and said, you can't print that. So one of them didn't. This one, Sun Times. They said, okay, we won't print this. That's how much control these white boys have over the information we get in Chicago about what's going on in our schools. Now, you think any African American scholars are looking into this and doing anything about it? I'll leave that question with you. Shortly thereafter, aforementioned reform leadership we got a new superintendent. General Superintendent R.G.K. Johnson came from New York. She was deputy to J. Jerome Harris in New York and Community District 13. Okay, she issued a 3-tier process focusing attention on low-achieving schools. And shortly thereafter, the aforementioned reform leaders, these 5 white guys, attacked her plan as violating the bottom-up spirit of the local school council. In the process that ensued, that is, they came in and changed her plan. Student achievement fell off the stage and got seriously injured. At the public hearing where I spoke in defense of the superintendent's plan, I was attacked by African American local school council members and Latino local school council members who told me a test ain't everything. I said, if it's not, neither is money. We gave a police promotion exam in Chicago. 115 people passed, and only 5 of them were minority. Hey, you gonna tell me tests are not important? Oh, try it on somebody else. I'm too old and too smart. As in many reform cities, student achievement is in competition with adult needs for jobs. And local school councils are hiring principals who will hire their relatives, you know, contractors and whatever. Now, not all local school councils are doing this, ladies and gentlemen. Some local school councils are struggling upstream and trying to do the right thing. But too many of them are not. That's my point. The reformers are opposed to standardized testing in poor schools, not rich schools. One of the reformers' daughter goes to University of Chicago Lab School. Now, I know they're giving the test. like lots of them. They want to replace it with some other form of assessment. Well, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, those things aren't going to work. And the reason they're not going to work is because tests are important. But as long as we have classrooms like this in our schools, right? As long as we do, hey, our kids are in bad shape. This is a high school classroom, okay, in Chicago. There are 18 kids in the class. You can only see 16 up here, but there are 18 of them there. I want you to look at, number 9. 9, this kid was absent 53 days, made an F on the midterm, an F on the final, had a 7.7 score when he came in, a 7.9 when he left, grew 2 months. Hey, he grew 2 months. Look at number 8. This kid was never absent. Made a D in the midterm, a B on the final mark, 6.5 when the kid came in, 6.9 when it came out, grew 4 months. I mean, the kid who didn't come did almost as well. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, try explain this to me, all you people that come from Detroit and say all these teachers in public schools know what they're doing. I mean, explain this to me. Explain it, as my grandmother said. Explain it. Because I need to understand this. I need to understand it. I need to understand it. Look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Here you got a kid here who was absent 2 days, grew 3 years and 2 months, and got a D. Would you come to this teacher's class? Would you? Speak up. Hey, this got to be corrected, ladies and gentlemen. You teachers got to stop protecting this thing. You got to stop it. You got to take charge of instruction in your schools. If you can't do it in your school, you can't do it anywhere. If you cannot control a teacher like this in your school and put some peer pressure on this teacher so this teacher learns how to teach or quits, you got a problem. You got a problem. You got a big problem. Okay, I'm bringing for you now. I'm about ready to quit. I'm bringing for you now. Oh, I forgot I'm on Chicago time. What?
Push on, man.
I'm bringing to you this time not a set that has already done it, but a set that is doing it and going to do it. That started to change my little tactics this year, right? So we got some schools that are doing it. They're not there yet next year, when they come back next year. They're not there yet. But they are here today to tell you what you must do if you want to do this. Because all of you are always telling me, well, you always give us schools that already done it, and we don't know how to do it. Okay. I'm bringing you schools now that are doing it. Okay? Okay. I got 2 high schools here, I think. Wendell Phillips, principal, Ms. Juanita Tucker. Stand up, Juanita. Tilden High School, Dr. Hazel Stewart. Where's Hazel? Here she is. Dr. Hazel Stewart had the only merit scholar with a perfect score on the SAT. Gregory Elementary, Cherie Darmany Miller, principal, Miss Rose Evans, instructional leader. This is our success school. Hughes is making it. This is Audrey Cooper Stanton, the principal of Hughes. Spencer Elementary. Is Dr. Sandra Givens here? Sandra? Well, she'll be here because she's on at 2:15. Okay? All right. Of these 10 schools that we have, all of them are not here today. Charles Evans Hughes is making the most rapid movement toward the goal of 50% of his students achieving at the national percentile. I mean, Hughes is doing it. This is Hughes. And you can learn more about that. The principal's here. Stand up again, Audrey, so they can come tell you. Especially now, this is the school that's doing it, not that other school. This is doing it. I got the scores. Here they are. I got all the stuff on Chicago Public Schools, because can't nobody lie now while I'm here. Call me. I'm in room 1528. Okay. Now, in the 3rd grade, where Audrey now is putting all the pressure, 36% of the kids met the goal, but she came up 5 points, so she's in the right direction. Here, this is still 3rd grade. She lost 5 points. See, if she had these 5 points here, she'd be almost at 50 where she wants to be. So she's got to get that back together again. But look at this. Look at this. Where's my other one? Oh, I think I gave it to you, Audrey. In grade 6, she's got it. So you have to go to her workshop to get the rest of this. In grade 6, she is up to the 64th percentile with these kids in reading and 58 minutes. Now, this is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to do if you're serious. Especially all you people have been bugging me to death about bringing you somebody to show you how to do this. You got to go to their workshops, okay, this afternoon. 2:15, Dr. Sandra Givens will be in San Fernando. Oh, thanks, Audrey. I mean, Julie. Okay, in 2:15 today, Dr. Sandra Givens, principal of Spencer, will be in the San Fernando room with Josie Letcher. Is Josie here? Josie. Okay, Earl Jeffrey. Earl here? Okay, these are school coordinators. These are people who work in the program in the schools every day. All right? Miss Juanita Tucker will be in 3:45 will be in Santa Anita A with Kim Chase Spike, stand up Kim, and Julie Mallory. They're both school coordinators. Kim's at Spencer and Julie's at Hughes and Gregory. All right? On Saturday morning in Santa Barbara, Dr. Hazel Stewart will be in the Santa Barbara room on Saturday at 8:45, and with her will be Miss Cherie Garmany Miller, principal of Gregory, and Audrey Cooper Stanton, the principal I'm talking about right now. All right? Shelby Taylor. Is Shelby Taylor here? Stand up, Shelby. Where? And Marianne Carlisle. Is Marianne here? Stand up, Marianne. Let these folks see you, because they've been bugging me for years about bringing people here and tell them how to do this. Right? Now, here's Audrey's stuff. Let me show you this. Okay? This girl came up 21 points, 6th grade reading, to 47th percentile. Hey, she's almost there. Because once you get to 50, everybody knows how to do it, and then they just take off. So 50 is the critical mark. Get to the 50th percentile, and then your teacher's got the pattern, they know the recipe, they gone. All right? 15 points over here in mathematics. Look at that. The girl is 64% of them exceeded the method needs. Hello. Hello. Up 8 points in science. Look at here. Looky here. 64% social science. Okay, down here came up 5 points, right? 46%, almost there. Hello, 58% up 19 points. Now tell me that ain't bad. Stand up, Audrey. Let these people look. There is a vacuum in African American leadership in public school policy. And it's not because we don't know what to do. I have not told you anything that you didn't know you were supposed to do. I'm bowled over. How many people come in here all the time to hear me tell you what you already know? You know these kids can learn, and most of you know what to teach them and how to. And if you don't, you know where to go to get the information. I mean, you got to know, you ought to know African and African-American history. I mean, look at your skin. Try to mirror. You can't pass. I mean, you could leave this hotel, go out in the streets of Los Angeles and tell everybody you white, hang a banner on you, say I'm white. Everybody gonna believe you? I mean, be real. You have to know that. So I know I'm not telling you something you don't know. I appreciate that. But why you come to hear me is beyond my imagination. Because all I do, is tell you this over and over and over. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to do what we know is right for our children. I don't care what other people tell us to do. If other people come in and tell you to do X and you know Y is better, just tell them, yes, I'll do that. And don't. Don't even fight about it. Unless they confront you on it, then you have to take a Doris Brevard situation. Superintendent came into Doris Brevard in 1972 and told her, you cannot use Lippincott. She said, I'm using it. She said, if you don't like it, do something about it. You'll move next. Of course, she never got promoted in the Pittsburgh public school system, and the black people there didn't have enough gumption to see that she was. In fact, they let the superintendent put in a lady as her boss this year. Got about 20 schools under her, and about 19 of them the kids can't read. I got scores on Pittsburgh, too, but I didn't bring them with me. And the first person she attacked was Doris Brevard. I mean, this a black lady, not quite African American. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to start doing what is good for us. I don't care what other people tell us. I don't care what they say. And don't have a fight with them about it. If they come and tell you that's wrong, you say, you're right, you're right. And just keep on doing what you got to do. I mean, don't have a big argument about it. These people don't understand us and don't want to. They want to control us. Just like many teachers want to control these students. That's why we don't talk to them. That's why we keep them writing all the time in school. Not because that's instruction. It's because we don't want to talk to them. If you want to teach African American children, you have to talk to them, and you have to let them talk to you. If your principal doesn't like a noisy classroom, tell him bye. In half these African American schools, they can't fire you anyway because they don't have anybody else putting your place. You really don't know the power that you have until you try using it. And you can't do it one at a time. You got to do it as a group. Everybody works as a group. You've let these people tell you that something is wrong with separatism, and everybody does it except us. If you don't believe me, look at the Koreans today. If you don't believe me, look at what the Koreans are doing today. We haven't got sense enough to do this because the people who oppress us keep telling us it's the wrong thing to do. Everybody separates. This is the way it looks, ladies and gentlemen. It's the way it looks. The group separates, develops cohesion and group identity through religion, ethnicity, language, culture, and race. And this cohesion gets intense. That's when you really scare the other folks. And they call it nationalism. You heard black nationalist. She's a black nationalist. Oh, I can't be nothing else but black. Is that the scary term? And the way you intensify this nationalism or intensified identity cohesion is through myths, rites, rituals, institutions, organizations, ideas, and activism. And then you develop yourself an economic niche. Listen, my son is an animal science genetic. He develops his genetic breed through chickens. He developed chickens. And it's very important in his work that someone identify the sex of the chicken immediately because he's got to feed them different from day one. You know who monopolizes this occupation? Japanese. You can't even learn it here. You have to go to Japan. It takes you 5 years. This little Japanese sister sat down there with his 250 chicks that my son gave her, and she sexed those chicks in 15 minutes, and he gave her $300. Does your occupation top that? $300 in 15 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Once you get yourself some money, you can buy you a politician. They're all for sale because we have made it that way. You cannot run for office jobs without money. So that means you either got to be a millionaire like Michael Huffington to start with, or you got to be for sale to the highest bidder. That's the nature of politics. That's the way we made it, because we are a capitalist country. And there is only one party, ladies and gentlemen. Please, African American people, don't be fooled by this trick. There is one party, the Capitalist Party of America. It has two branches, the Republican and the Democrat. That's why it's so easy to switch from one to the other. I mean, the senator from Alabama didn't have no trouble. He got up on Monday morning, he said, "Oops, I made a mistake. I ain't no Democrat no more." Ronald Reagan used to be a Roosevelt Democrat. My mother voted Republican during the first years of her young life till Franklin Delano Roosevelt gave her a job, and then she's been a Democrat ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one party. The Capitalist Party of America has two branches, Republican and Democrat, and it don't make any difference which one you win. The money's going to get back to the 10% of the people who have 90% of the wealth. Don't make any difference what you do. Okay, how do you get fooled by this trick? You get fooled by this trick because the Democrats spread the money around and let you use that money with your plastic. But it gets back to the same people who get it in the Republican Party. The Republican Party said, no, that takes too much time. Just give it to the rich people in the beginning and let it trickle out. This Republican agenda unless you understand the reality in which you live. Amen. Almost 75% of our professionals work for the government. Now you got a Congress that's 6 degrees to the right of Hitler now, and they are going to downsize the government. They're not going to get government out of your life, but they're going to downsize it and unemploy you. All right. And 85% of our professionals work for the government, fed, state, and local. Right. So when they start downsizing this sucker, the fallout gonna be mean among y'all. All right. And then you're gonna identify with poor people like quick. My grandmother told me, don't be mean to people on your way up, because you got to come past them on your way down. What's going to get us out of this mess, ladies and gentlemen? I promised Jawanza I'd save him some time. Where's Jawanza? Okay. Let me close. Culture is the sum total of artifacts accumulated in the struggle for survival and autonomy. Here, survival means the development of the ability of each member of the group to keep his or her body in good enough physical, mental, moral, and spiritual health, long enough to reproduce that body and to care for this progeny. If we don't start doing that, we will not survive. And education is the means to that. So if you are not teaching our children what they need to know, if you're not teaching them what they need to know, like Francis told you, beginning with their real history and teaching them what's important to them, then they're not going to make it. And Jawanza's going to talk more to you about that, so I'm going to skip this part. Listen, I'm going to end with these things. I am tired of African American teachers and all others telling me they can't teach these kids because they're not motivated and their parents aren't involved. Listen, listen, listen. If you want to motivate these children, you got to be enthusiastic and energetic. You can't be no dull, dead teacher in the class. If you want somebody to learn what you have to say, you got to be energetic about it. You got to be enthusiastic about it. You got to be up in their face teaching them about it because you love what you do and you know what you are doing. If you are, I go in the classroom and get the teacher's so dull and dead, I go to sleep myself. And they got the nerve to come up to me and tell me the kids are not motivated. I said, sister, you ain't either. I mean, you need to get yourself together. You need to get your own act up tight. Well, once you get motivated, you'll be surprised how many kids will. All right? I walked in the classroom, and a little kid was sitting in the corner. And so I went up to him, and I said, what you doing here? He said, my teacher told me to sit in the corner. I said, well, why? I said, okay, read these words for me. So he read every single one of the words, right? I said, my God, you smart. He said, I can read a book. So I said, he said, you want me to read a book to you? I said, sure enough, I do. And he read this book to me about Peter Pan, had big old words, and he's in first grade, had words in it like tremendous and devious, right? So I talked to the teacher afterwards, and I said, what you do with this kid sitting in the corner? His kid read better than I can almost. She said, oh, anybody can read them little old first grade books. I said, excuse me, you got first grade books with tremendous and devious in them? She said, no. I said, well, that's what he was reading. So I took her back there and showed her the book. She said, oh, I thought you talked about them little baby books that's over there on the table. I said, well, I'm not. And I repeat, what's he doing in the corner, sitting in the corner? He can read like this. And so then she told me about how he didn't do his spelling. I had to leave her. I had to leave her because I would have done something I wouldn't like. Ladies and gentlemen, change your behavior to reach your goals. 2, recognize achievement. When it does not happen, don't make excuses for yourself and don't blame the children. 3rd, celebrate the teachers and students who achieve. Give them some kind of honor. Don't dog them like you do. She thinks she cute. She just trying to make a hide for somebody else. Celebrate them. I mean, we've got some wonderful teachers, it's true, who have raised scores. Veronica Harris at Spencer, Paulette Boston at Spencer, Barry Norton at Spencer, Lucille Howard at Hughes. These teachers need to be celebrated, and we need to give them honor for teaching our children. Lastly, be energetic, be enthusiastic, love what you do, and teach what you know. And if you don't know anything, try to get yourself together and get something in your mind.